Hey, Coach. Hope the holidays treated you well. I guess how important was it, do you think, for the guys to get a little break before starting this next chapter of the season? And then how was the vibe and the energy at practice when you guys got back together yesterday?
Yeah, I thought yesterday vibe was really good. I certainly think after non-conference it makes a lot of sense for the student athletes to have those days off. I think it's healthy for everybody. But practice yesterday started off slow like it normally does. But it was one of the better practices that I've been a part of, and we talked a lot about last year after this break, we did not play good basketball. And so we showed them the scores and we talked about it. And so, yeah, I thought practice was pretty good yesterday, considering they had, 3 days off.
And curious, how well do you know Coach McMahon at LSU, if at all? And then what are your thoughts on the job he's done so far with this, flipped roster, almost, or maybe more turnover than you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, LSU's coaching staff's done a great job. I mean, they have, the bringing some guys that had played for him in the past, I think has really helped continuity wise. And Hill does really good job for him at the point. He's a great assist to turnover player, and KJ Williams, player of the year in their conferences, has played at an elite level, through non-conference play, and a guy like Miller that was there last year and rehabbed, and obviously Wilkinson, number 5, is a returning player, and then you got transfers that have done a good job. And Fountain is a guy that played at Mississippi State, so he has SEC league experience. And Hannibal had played in the SEC, and he's a tough-minded guy. And Hayes, a transfer from NC State. All those guys have done a great job. I really like how they've played, and how he's implemented his system, and guys have bought into what they're teaching.
Touch.
Yeah, Coach, you talked a little bit about Justice Hill there. I think he overlapped with you for maybe a couple of months. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but do you remember anything about that stretch there, and how much has he maybe improved over these last few years since you saw him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he had a great career at Murray. Continues to play, at a high level. Great assist to turnover player. Takes really good care of the basketball. Makes threes. Tough competitor. Again, I love how they've kind of incorporated some of the guys that had played in that system, and how they've carried on with their winning ways, because they won a lot of games the last couple of years, and obviously with the record right now continue to win at a high level.
And y'all haven't played on the road yet, but you have played in Maui. You went overseas, the game in Tulsa. How much do you think those experiences will help y'all going on the road this first time?
Yeah, I think for sure the fact that we played the 3 games in Maui helps, and certainly feel like that game in Tulsa, and even leaving Bud Walton and playing in Little Rock, we've got a pretty good sample size of 5 games where we're kind of out of our own element, so to speak, where we've had to travel and check into hotels. And but certainly a road game is different when it's a true road game, and certainly a league game is different than a non-conference game, and certainly a league road game is much different than a normal road game.
Bob.
Hey Eric, how you doing? Speaking of the road in Baton Rouge, I kind of forgotten about this. You didn't make the trip last year. Looking back, how weird was that? And even though it's going to be a tough environment, I'm sure, how excited are you to be going to Baton Rouge for the first time in 2 seasons? And I hope your shoulder's like 100% better and you don't even think about it. Just wonder how's your shoulder doing?
Shoulder's great, but obviously last year was pretty weird coming out of surgery. And I remember sitting at my kitchen table writing some notes and got dizzy on Friday night was able to watch the game and then was extremely sick afterwards, to the point that Dr. Cox had to come over to my house because I got off the pain medicine without being instructed to, and got slammed pretty good right after the game. But I remember, I mean, I've never really can remember celebrating a game like that with my wife, being so excited. You know, I thought Coach Smart did a great job. The team played in a tough environment. They had a great crowd. They were a ranked team at the time. And, you know, it was a huge win for, you know, for our program last year at that juncture of time.
Yeah, just how excited are you to be going back to, like, even though it's going to be a tough place, and of course you coached there a year with Johnny. How excited are you to be, you know, not have, you get to go to Baton Rouge this year when you had to miss it last year?
Yeah, no, I think anytime you can go back to a place that you've spent time and you know, so yeah, I'm excited, just like I think the whole team's excited to start SEC play.
And then any update on Nick, and are you thinking you won't have him for this game, or what can you say about that?
Yeah, no, Nick's status has not changed at all. You know, out indefinitely, and there's you know, there's no updates on him at all.
Is he going to travel with you guys?
I would assume he was.
Okay. Well, that's good. That means he's got a shot. And then, you know, you're talking about Justice, and yeah, I look, he's got 50 assists, 16 turnovers, but you guys have been turning over people at a high rate. You know, and Sherfield had, I think he was 40 and 19, and you guys turned him over. I think he had 3 assists and 4 turnovers against you all. So you guys have done a good job of making good players, you know, struggle with turnovers. It's been such a big part of your game. How do you see that translate now to an SEC road game against a team with a pretty good point guard?
Yeah, I think that, you know, once you get into SEC play, you know, for the most part, it's, you know, at least for us, it's, you know, it's people take a little bit better care of the ball, and you know, in their structure and the way they play, and you know, Hill having such a comfortability with the system, and then Hannibal also, you know, like I said, with the experience of him playing in this league, you know, those are 2 really good ball handlers. And then Hayes becomes another ball handler and a guy that can score the basketball as well. So, you know, 3 really good guards are all a little bit different, but obviously the, you know, getting shots on goal and limiting turnovers, you know, they've done a really good job, especially, you know, Hill has done a really good job.
And you obviously don't have Trevin. You won't have him, you know, Nick's out, and definitely if Nick can't play, you still have a lot of firepower, I think, a lot of good players. How do you feel about it if Nick can't play?
Well, I mean, Nick's not going to, I mean, Nick's out indefinitely, Bob. So he's not, you know, he's not playing in this game. You know, otherwise the status would change, you know. So you know, we need somebody to step up for sure, you know, just like we have had people step up, you know, new opportunity, and like, you know, who that is, we don't really know. You know, last game it was Jalen Graham, you know, came in and we threw the ball to him and on one of his post up plays, and he went to work. But yeah, certainly with the makeup of our roster, you know, with Nick and TB, you know, not playing, somebody's got to kind of step up and you know, have a big game for us for sure.
You said, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, probably your deepest team, and of course you probably didn't want it to be tested like this, but do you feel good? You do have, you know, like say, you still have a lot of good parts, you know?
Yeah, no, we like our roster a ton. Different guys have stepped up at different moments, whether you go back to the San Diego State game in Maui when Kamani really stepped up, or Jalen Graham last game really stepped up, and Devo Davis has continued to play at a really, really high level. And Anthony Black has, you know, when we've been down scores, Anthony has proven that he can step up and score the basketball. So, yeah, you know, we're kind of changing our identity kind of as the season's progressing because of the injuries. But, you know, I think our ball club is a confident team. And I think that we understand, you know, we only have so many limited opportunities to play on the road. And this is one of those opportunities. And we're playing against a team that's 8-0 at home and playing against a star player, an all league type player, and number 12 Williams. And we're trying to study Williams and you know, break his game down for our guys. For instance, he's made 93 field goals and taken a total of 27 dribbles. So we're trying to break down bits and pieces of their top 7 guys so that we can try to game plan as best that we possibly can.
It's got one more. Did you think you guys would be this good at turning people over? And I know, you know, you haven't played the bulk of your, you know, the SEC, obviously haven't even started the SEC schedule yet, but did you think you guys would be this good? I mean, I think we brought this up the last game, 69-14. I mean, that's just crazy. I don't care who you're playing. That's a nutty stat, you know?
Well, we want to, you know, use our length and our aggressiveness defensively. And, you know, I mean, we're only through that non-conference portion and you know, the pressure of conference games and all those things gets, you know, goes to another level. And we got a lot of new players. So, you know, this will be the first SEC game for a lot of guys on this team other than Devo and Kamani.
So, one more, I read this, you know, Justin at Hog Stats, he wrote the point, obviously this game's still in the calendar year 2022. If you guys win, you'll be 4-0 against LSU in the year 2022. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think every game, you know, it's a new coaching staff. It's their style of play is much different. You know, so I mean, I don't really take, you know, what's happened. You know, most of our guys have not played against LSU, so, and most of their players have not played against Arkansas, other than, you know, Williams and Hannibal when he was, you know, at South Carolina, and you know, Fountain when he was at Mississippi State. And so really Wilkinson's the only, probably he and Justin Williams is number 11, probably the only 2 guys that, you know, that really have experience against us.
Okay, Coach, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.